Be and see what happens. And that's what it's all about in life anyway, right? With all the important stuff, you know? You fall in love, you make love, and ultimately you be, and you see what happens. You're born here into this world, this beautiful, amazing world, and you be and you see what happens. That's all you can do, is you can be. People say be yourself. It's all you can be. You can't be anything else. So you just be, you feel, you think, you talk, you make love, you do, you act. Wow, right now, those insects, what are they? You know, my friend Jack and I were sitting at the pool last night, and just as the sun was going down, the noise here from these insects was incredible. Like, I mean, I've heard this before, you know, in these tropical environments, but never like this. I don't know if you can hear it now or what you're hearing, you know, sound of the waves. I didn't mic this properly. I didn't feel like going back to my hotel room to get the real mics. I just wanted to do this as the sun was coming up. But we're out there by the pool, and all of a sudden we hear it, and it's like so incredibly loud, and it's like, what is that, you know? And then after a while it stopped, and I guess these things do it when the sun goes up and when it comes down. And so here I am as the sun's coming up, and all of a sudden I hear them like just singing like good morning, just as they were singing good evening last night. And it's incredible. So anyway, you know, let's take a look around me here. You know, this is Koh Samui in Thailand. And fortunately, I guess, I couldn't sleep. And so I just got up and decided to do this. And so here I am, just anticipating a new day on this full moon, you know, just on the beach, on the other side of the world. And to me, one of the other things, you know, one of the things that has always been really cool for me is, you know, I take a lot of trips to Asia. It's exactly on the other side of the planet from where I normally live, which is in New York. And I always feel like when I'm over here, it's like I'm in my dream, you know, because my body thinks that it's daytime when it's nighttime here and nighttime when it's daytime there. So it's like I'm awake in a dream. And it's always just felt like really special and unique to me to be here. You know, in these, especially in places like Thailand and the Philippines, because I love the beaches and the tropics and the weather and the warmth and the humidity. I come out here, I wake up, and I'm like, you know what, I can't go back to sleep, so let me do one of these Captain Zodiac things here on the beach as the sun comes up. And right away, there's always the element of thought of like, what's going to bother me, you know? There's always that element to like, what's going to bother me? So I'm walking down here, and the first thing I'm thinking about is, you know what? I left my good mic at home, so I'm only going to be using the phone mic. Is anybody going to be able to hear me? Or is the sound not going to be that good? But it's like, I got to go, man. You know, the sun's coming up. I just want to be here, and I want to do this. And then as I'm walking further, I'm thinking about other people, like self-consciousness. You know, like I'm going to be sitting here talking on the beach, and I'm sure some other people around are going to want to come and watch the sun come up, and, you know, is that going to distract me? So it's like, what's going to bother me? What's going to distract me? What's going to keep me from being perfect? Because I want to do this perfectly, you know? And I've been doing this thing for years, where I just put on the camera and I talk. And that's always the biggest part of it, I think, is it going to be perfect? I get too hung up on, is it going to be good? Is it going to be well done? Am I going to look good, you know? I'll go back and watch this and I'll be like, did I look good? Did I sound good? Did I say something interesting? Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I've done close to 500 of these episodes over, I don't keep track of time, but I suppose over 10 years, you know, on local television. And when I look back, some of them really just sucked, man. It was boring and it's like, what was I doing? What was I thinking? But to me, this is an art, one of my many arts, and as an art, and we're all artists, you know, and you know, to live as an artist, to make your life an art, is a beautiful and powerful thing. And so, as an artist, real art isn't in the perfection. It's in the just being and letting it be and seeing what happens. So it's like Wim Wenders, the filmmaker, who made one of my favorite films, Wings of Desire, which was amazing. I've watched some of his other films that, man, I couldn't even stay awake watching them. They were just, to me, they're boring as hell. But that's what being an artist really is, you know? There's an artist and a craftsman. So if you're making a film, you know, there's the artist who just takes a chance and does his thing, and then the craftsman tries to put it together in a way that will be more interesting to the public. And I've probably, in my life, quite often, it's kind of weird. On one hand, I focus so much on the craft that I don't get things done because I'm so worried about, is it good? And on the other hand, I totally neglect the craft part, and I just express myself and do my thing, and then I just put it out there. And so when over the years doing this show, I put out some real crap, but I've had to do that in order to put out the good stuff. So if I've done like 400 and some shows, maybe, you know, 400 and some half-hour shows, of all those shows, there may be only a few minutes of stuff that I'd really look at and go, wow, that's amazing, you know? And there has been that stuff. Maybe more than a few minutes. Maybe I'm being a little tough on myself. But the ratio of garbage to treasure in what I've done is like, it's like, wow. Like 90% garbage and 10% treasure, maybe 5% treasure. And then in a way, it's all treasure, you know? And again, you know, art is life, life is art. And so we're all doing it. I'm just doing it a little bit more publicly. But we're all doing it. That's how we live our life. We put out a lot of garbage just to get a little treasure, but the treasure is so worth it that it's worth it. And it reminds me of this time, this guy I was hanging out with, who he was really, most people would say he's pretty messed up in the head. He could be pretty violent, pretty crazy. But one time he asked me, he liked to ask me questions, and he said, what percentage of the time in your life are you happy? And I said something like, I think I said like, maybe like half the time, or maybe 40% of the time. And he said, wow, you're really lucky. He said, for me, maybe it's like 1%, 2%. But whatever it is in your life, perhaps the people who really are self-reflective and have high expectations and are very idealistic would come in with a number more like that, where it's like, you know, you might say only a small percentage of your life is real happiness, and the rest is and the rest of it is trouble, because you have high expectations, you're idealistic, and that's great. And the people who might say 50% is happiness or 70% happiness, maybe it's ignorance in some ways. They're ignoring it, but ignorance is bliss, right? But the whole thing with life is, for me anyway, is even if a small percentage of my life is that joy and that bliss, it makes everything worthwhile. I remember years ago traveling through the south of France. I rented a motorcycle with my girlfriend, and she's on the back of the motorcycle with me, and we're riding the coast of the Mediterranean, the south of France. and we stopped for a little break, pulled up the motorcycle, and we were sitting on this spot with this beautiful, beautiful view. And I looked at her and I said, you know, if I died right now, my whole life would have been worth it just for this day, just for this moment. And I've had a lot of those moments in my life. And on this trip that I'm on right now here in the south of Thailand, I've had several of those moments with some people that I'm with where I've just said to them or just said to myself, just for this moment right now, if I died right now, my entire life was absolutely amazing. Despite all the heartbreaks and heartaches, my life was absolutely amazing just for this moment that we're having right now. Because it's so beautiful and so incredible. So to me, that's so much about what it's about. You know, we struggle so much over the hard times. We have all these expectations, like it's got to be up all the time. I have a friend who really struggles with depression. And I tell him, you know, when you're feeling depressed, just feel depressed. That's the problem people have with depression, is they have this expectation that they're supposed to feel good. Nah, you don't always have to feel good. Feel depressed when you feel depressed. I have a big issue with these psychiatric drugs and it seems like in America, everybody's on these psychiatric drugs. And I know damn well that's wrong. I know there are a few people that really need those psychiatric drugs. You know, I have a friend that he's been hospitalized for depression. And I know there are times when he absolutely needs that stuff. But those psychiatric drugs, to me, are like, in some ways, such an evil. Because the only way that we can find the light is to face the darkness, embrace the darkness, face the darkness, embrace the darkness. And when you're attempting to suppress it, you can't get to where you've got to go. So eventually you're going to face the darkness. If not in this lifetime, another lifetime, and it's all the same lifetime, you're going to face the darkness. And I ask myself, why is it so that Americans feel like they need this stuff? And you ask anybody on this stuff, and they'll say, well, I have to have it, you know? I have to have it. The doctor told me I have a chemical imbalance. Screw that chemical imbalance. If you measured everybody's chemicals in their brains, we all have chemical imbalances from time to time. There's no perfect. And you want to know what? The people who are the most off balance are the most blessed, you know? Because it's like, do you want to go through life with just a flat line, or do you want to have ups and downs? And again, the people, anybody I've talked to that's really addicted to these drugs, I mean, you got to think about it. If you need something every day to get through your life, whether, you know, I have nothing against smoking pot, but if you need to do that every day of your life, you've got a problem. If you need to do these doctor's drugs every day of your life, you've got a problem. You know, I think even with coffee, people need coffee to wake up and to be and to have energy. You've got a problem. You know, you need this substance to find energy, to find happiness, to find peace. And I don't have peace. You know, for me personally, I'll know I have peace when I start sleeping well, because I'm sleepless, I'm restless, and I'm glad that I'm restless, because it motivates me and inspires me to go out and to do, you know, and if I was completely at peace, you know, I don't know if it'd be worth really being here. I'd just be like some Buddhist monk on a hill sitting there, like, doing nothing. So you got to embrace what you're given, you know. You got to trust that what you're given is the perfect thing for the perfect moment. So if I can't sleep, then I don't feel really my best unless I get 7 or 8 hours sleep, and I hardly ever do. But I've gotten to the point where I have to trust that I've been given the perfect amount of sleep for this day. I've been given the perfect amount of energy for this day. I've been given the perfect amount of clarity for this day. Because a lot of times when I don't sleep, I don't have, like, mental clarity. You know, I'm like in a fog. And then it affects my memory, my alertness, and everything. But then maybe there's something positive about it. Maybe that kind of mentality puts me into some kind of like almost like a drug and allows me to view this life and this world in a way that I wouldn't if I was so lucid and clear-minded. So you know, I just got to go with what I have, and back to these psychiatric drugs that everybody's on in America. What makes Americans think that they've got this special thing where they've got this chemical imbalance and they have to have these things? And anytime I've ever had a discussion with people on this, and it's crazy, so many people in America are on this stuff, but they'll be like, no, you don't understand. They get angry with me. You know, it's like fight for your limitations to an extreme. Man, they get mad at me. You know, you don't understand. Don't tell me I don't understand. I've been so depressed I've wanted to kill myself at times in my life. But that's another thing. We are so hung up on survival that we give away everything. We give away our freedom to be in the darkness, to be crazy. We put cameras everywhere watching each other. We make all kinds of laws to watch each other and control each other. Because we're so much more hung up on surviving than living. So what if you die? It doesn't make any difference. You're sitting there going, so what if I die? You know what? I'm going to tell you something. If somebody came up to me right now and put a gun to my head and told me they're going to kill me, I'm going to try to survive because I'm an animal just like you. And we're all animals, and there's that survival instinct. But I know that it's just the animal survival instinct, that there really is no death, that we're eternal beings. And then I just died a minute ago, and a second ago, and 5 minutes ago, and I don't even know it, because there's just this infinite being, and infinite death, and infinite birth. And what I'm really trying to say, because I won't go too much into that right now, is that we spend so much time, we get so hung up on surviving, fight cancer, fight heart disease, fight AIDS, that we're afraid to really live. It's all about protection. Protect yourself. Put on your seatbelt. Put on your condom. Put on your helmet. Maybe I want to ride my motorcycle and feel the hair going, the wind going through my hair, you know? To me, that's what a motorcycle's about. If I'm just completely worried about safety, I'm going to strap myself in a Volvo and maybe put a roll cage in it and drive like 5 miles an hour. Maybe I won't even get in a car. Maybe I won't fly anywhere. And we all have the degree of risk that we're willing to take. Most of us are willing to get in a jet plane and fly somewhere because we want to see other places, we want to go other places, maybe our job requires it. There are some people who won't fly. Some people who won't get in a car. But for the most part, we're sheep, you know, so we do what other people do. If we didn't have all these other people around us and somebody said, do you want to get up in a plane and go up in this steel ship that weighs tens of thousands, I don't know how much a plane weighs, a jet plane's, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of pounds. You want to just get in that thing and fly up into the sky? Most people would say, oh no, I'd never get in that. But the reason that we get in it is because we've become accustomed to it. You know? We've gotten to a point in our life, now I'm a little bit distracted, some guys here, cleaning the chairs, you know, people getting ready for the beach for the day. But we're in flocks, and we do what the flock does, you know? A girl who would never think of selling her body, if she starts hanging out with other women who do it, after a while she'll become accustomed to it, and there's nothing wrong with it in her circle. If you're a Republican, you have certain values that you're okay with, and the people you hang out with, and the media that you watch says that those values are okay, even if it's destroying the whole planet that we live on. You know, you can rationalize to yourself with the help of other people who have the same rationalization that it's okay. You know, it's okay to destroy the earth because. And you can say the same thing about Democrats or liberals too, you know. I mean, we all have our our beliefs and our shared values, and we flock together, and then everything's okay. And now I'm getting a little bit distracted because now the sun's up, and then people are starting to come to the beach and notice what I'm doing, and then I become more self-conscious. And whenever you become self-conscious, you cannot really do what you do, and you cannot really be who you are. But I'm going to try anyway. I'm going to try to be who I am because I want to be with you. Self-consciousness. Let's talk about self-consciousness. I used to have a rock band, and I still like to make music, and I like to sing. But I can never really sing as well as I want to when I'm self-conscious about it. And I usually am self-conscious about it. I'd like to do some vocals in the condo that I live in, but I can't really sing. I even get off key. Why? Because I'm aware, I'm conscious of other people around me, paying attention to what I'm doing. If I start singing, somebody might walk by my doorway and hear me singing, and I get self-conscious about it. Because the people who really sing well, they're not self-conscious about it. Like, a lot of African Americans are good singers, and the reason is because they grew up in, it's not like they have better vocal cords or better ears than other races or ethnicities. It's just that they grew up in a culture where they go to churches and they sing out loud and express themselves. And so if you grew up in a home, whether you're white, black, Asian, Hispanic, whatever, if you grew up in a home and an environment where singing out loud with other people is part of your life, you're going to sing well, because it's like a kid. You hear a kid singing, yeah, they might be off key or everything, but it's beautiful because they're just expressing themselves. Same thing with dancing. You see a kid dancing, and it's cool how they dance, even if it's weird. It's cool how they dance because they're doing it without self-consciousness. But then, I think the more you are of a thinker, the more hard it is, the more difficult it is to just let loose, to make love to the world, musically, artistically, with your body. You know how hard it is when you get self-conscious when you're making love? But self-consciousness, it's paralyzing, right? Paralyzing. You can't express yourself. Life is an art. Art is life. Life is art. Love is life. Love is art. The art of lovemaking. And then what it really comes down to is just being and trusting. If you're making love, if you're with somebody that you trust, you have that connection because you can't have love without trust. So if you're trying to make love to someone without trust, it's not really going to be love, even if it's just making love for one night with someone that you're just, attracted to. But hey, there's nothing wrong with that, right? You just find beauty in someone, and you want to feel it in all different ways. You want to touch them, you want to taste them. But you can't really enjoy it if you're worried about, am I making them satisfied? Am I giving them pleasure? What do they think of my body? What do they think of my face? I can't fully be with you because as I'm doing this right now, I look at my face as I'm doing this. I got a screen in front of my face, and I look at it from time to time, and I make judgments. And sometimes I'm looking at it, I'm going, "Hey, you look good, man." And when I feel that, then I'm like, it's easier for me to be with you. And then sometimes I'm looking, I'm like, ooh, I don't know. And then I can't really be with you because I'm too much with myself. Too much with myself instead of with you. And I want to connect to you, and man, I really want to connect to you. And sometimes it's just you want your own space too, A lot of times it's just that, Sometimes you just don't. It's like I don't always want to be interacting with other people. Sometimes I want the solitary experience sometimes. Just look at this. Look at this. Look at this. I'm here in this place, and there's people waking up from their hotel rooms right now, and they're taking pictures of the ocean behind me. You know, maybe they're from Japan or China or Korea or somewhere in Europe, where there's even a few Americans around here. And we're all having this same amazing experience. And it brings tears to my eyes, you know? I mean, we're here with friends and loved ones, or maybe it's, you know, traveling on their own. And you're just here, and you're just looking around at this incredible beauty of this planet and this earth and other people, and it's so beautiful just to connect. Sometimes I get distracted again. There's another one of these hotel guys, you know, walking down here, like looking at me like, "Hey, what's up? How are you? Good morning. Sawadee Kap. We're on TV right now. We're on TV. American TV, New York TV. New York TV.
Good morning, สวัสดีตอนเช้า
Good morning, good morning.
สวัสดีตอนเช้า See you.
Have a great day. But this is it, you know. This is just to be connecting with other people from around the world, and you know, I got tears in my eyes right now. This has been like, I haven't been on this trip a week, and I'm with one of my most beautiful friends, one of my best friends, who's like a brother to me. And I met someone really special the first day I was here, who, it was just magic. And these are not only lifelong connections or day-long connections or night-long connections, just for a brief moment like that, but we're eternally connected, you know? We're eternally connected. These are people, that guy who just walked by, I've seen him before. I've seen him before. Look, he works here, and look what he's doing right now. Look behind me. He probably has been here for years and years and years, and yet every day he wakes up and he just goes and looks at the beauty of this place that he's in, you know? And I'm sure he has his life and his people, and I have my life and my people. And we walk around, and we connect.